Christians in America like to talk about our founding fathers and their godliness and their Christian principles and so forth. And the truth of the matter was, most of them were Christians by birth and practice. They had a very extensive Christian experience. Some of them, of course, had some deist type of beliefs, but most of them were some kind of Christian. The only thing is, they were all, to a man, Protestant in their background, and their only experience as far as church is concerned had been a state-sponsored church, a church where its bills were paid for by taxing the citizens, and then the government giving that tax money to the church, of the state church, in order to support the work and the efforts of the church. And when our country was founded, all of a sudden there were Baptist men who were promoting and talking to those founding fathers and promoting the idea of church liberty and no state-sponsored church. And they got a hold of men and influenced people like Patrick Henry and James Madison and Thomas Jefferson, and encouraged them that churches, if it was a work of God, could survive without state sponsorship and state support, and began to promote the idea of the free market of religious ideas, that a church that had a message to preach would be able to find a congregation not only to hear it, but also to support that message. And the Baptists were really strong on that idea. Of course, the Baptists had experience with this, even though they had never been a state-sponsored church in all of their history. Baptist churches had always had members who were likely being forced to pay taxes and give support that was going to the state-established church, but they were, at the same time that they were supporting the state-established church, were paying the bills for their own church, meeting maybe in sometimes it would have been a butcher house that the meat was moved out of the way so the people could assemble for preaching, or sometimes it would be a barn and the hay was stacked in such a way that the people could go in there for the preaching, and they were paying for a pastor and for the needs to keep a ministry going, even though they were also supporting another ministry. So they had experience, and they knew that a message that was real and a message that was from God would not lack people that would want to hear it, and would not lack for support. James Madison, Patrick Henry, Thomas Jefferson did not know that, and one of their real concerns when our country was founded was whether or not the church, Christianity, the church could survive without that financial support, the government supporting it like that. And they were concerned because, as they saw it, the kind of liberty that our country afforded could only be maintained by a moral people, and they saw Christianity, they saw the church as essential in developing moral people that could practice liberty. And so the idea of turning the church over to God and to let God and His people support the church, that was something very, very difficult, and they weren't sure it would ever work. But you know what? It's been more than 200 years, and church is still surviving very well. And God has taken care of His church and His people all of these years, and I thank God for it.